right, Oval fans, here we are reviewing, is it episode 7? The Dark Sheep? Wow, what an episode, guys. The first, 7 minutes was pretty much an exposition dump about Victoria's backstory. But this was very well done, because sometimes there are times in series and movies where show not tell is actually better than, the alternative. But at the same time, the performance of Victoria sold this scene for me, because there are some times where a character will just dump exposition and it's kind of boring because it's like, everything is dumped and it's like, okay, I got to process everything I was just told. But the reason I think this works is not only because of how this wonderful actress portrayed Victoria in this scene, but we got a lot more depth into who Victoria is, somewhat of an idea of why she is the way she is. And I loved it. This was excellent. Max is pretty much there. He stops her before she goes too far. What is it like? We can, if I'm not mistaken, can we hear her like undoing his belt and zipper and whatnot? And as he's standing there the entire time, his zipper is like kind of messed up because his shirt's still there. And it's like, come on, man. I know you want to listen to what Victoria has to say, because honestly, you kind of don't have a choice. But at the same time, you could at least fix it real quick to make sure no one else sees it, because I honestly thought that at any point someone was going to walk through that kitchen door and see what was going on. But I may have to do a separate video specifically on Victoria, because this was a lot to take in. Basically, correct me if I'm wrong, but she was a bastard child. What was it? Her mother, who was light-skinned, had an affair with a dark-skinned person, and she was, well, no pun intended, the black/dark sheep of her family, who didn't care for her and shipped her off to boarding school. While she was in college, she saw Hunter, who was pretty much a doofus. I guess the way to put it is the fact that she saw all these other white women marrying Hunter-like men because she saw potential in him, not just because of Hunter being Hunter, but the fact that she can kind of latch on to Hunter and live the so quote-unquote American dream, because she saw all these white women going after guys like Hunter because, hey, an all-American man would make for a good husband. She figured that for her own benefit, she should marry Hunter, who her parents pretty much almost exiled her even further than what she already was, because of the fact that she married someone outside of her race. But as time went on, governor's mansion, now the White House, now the family adores her, but still treated like shit, almost like she's a prize to be won. So yeah, that explains a bit more about her character, and I appreciate that. So, her dialogue, I swear. So, I mean, what is it? Call me when you get rid of that bitch or want to leave that bitch. So basically, it's like, okay, Max, you turn me down now, but let me know. Hit me up when you're ready for it. Jason So Jason was behind the island in the kitchen the entire time. It just pops up like a damn Muppet, like on Sesame Street or whatnot. Like, when somebody's sitting at a table or at a wall, so a Muppet will like, hey Bert, how's it going? So Max calls him out about, sir, we talked about you not creeping around, but this is my house. And guess what? She gets what she wants. You can't fend her off forever. She will get you eventually. So I think one of my favorite lines from Max in this scene was the fact that Victoria was trying to, use her power to make him say, you will serve me with pleasure, but he will serve this office with pleasure. He will serve this house with pleasure, which I like that. It's like not a disrespectful stab at Victoria. Again, I say Veronica, but my God, I really want to praise the episode because of the fact that we got a lot of backstory on Victoria in episode 7. And do you know how long it took to even get a fraction of that backstory for almost any main character on the Haves and the Have-Nots? And there's still a lot we don't know about certain characters. And it's 6 seasons. That says a lot. Okay. So, Jason, who still hasn't fixed his zipper, which I'm confused about. We have Max and Kyle briefly talking. Kyle's pretty much being an asshole. And he's just questioning Max about, where's the president? Is he okay? Is he in the residency or in the Oval? What's going on here? And I guess you could say that Max kind of stabs back at him at the fact that Donald doesn't want to have anything to do with Kyle. So they pretty much have a standoff, and they're kind of, antagonistic towards each other for the entire episode. So we go to Sharon and Kareem, and she's wanting Kareem not to press charges, even though her boyfriend came in there, kicked his ass, and did a good amount of damage to the pharmacy. So she decides to go back home just to get her stuff, but she also pleads with him again not to press charges. And after that, we go to Hunter and Denise. He keeps calling her, but she's rightfully mad about the first lady came in here, whooped my ass, and now you want me to come back to you? Hell no. And she hangs up. And we have Richard and Nancy. They're getting no calls from Barry. Sharon comes home and explains what happened at the pharmacy. And Richard goes out to find his son. Nancy pleads with Sharon to stay because she needs her around. And, Sharon obviously has a lot of reasons not to stay. But for Nancy's sake, does stay for now. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Then we have Max and Max and Kyle again. And he talks about the whole zippers thing about, hey, watch your zipper. So does Kyle think that Max and Hunter have a thing going on, kind of like how he and Donald apparently had something going on? I don't know, but in any case, an emergency alarm goes off because Hunter's pushing everything, trying to get Denise, and he tells Max to go to get her. And we have a guy coming up to Kyle talking about how he has info about what went down at the airport between Bobby and Lily, and he wants to take this information to talk with Lily personally, which we'll see later in the episode. So Donald goes to tell Hunter about the whole button situation and how it's only for emergencies, but he doesn't give a shit. Not even the fact that there's apparently a cabinet meeting in 5 minutes, and it's like, I don't think there's been one redeeming quality about Hunter in this entire series so far. We're 7 episodes in, and I don't like him. I get the fact that we're not supposed to like his character, but hell, even people like Jim Cryer or, I don't want to say Eddie from If Loving You Was Wrong, but the only thing we've seen so far is the fact that he wants to protect Gail, but at the same time, Victoria makes a point that he's never been there to raise the kids, so why does he even care now? I don't know. Donald just doesn't even know what to do. It's like, wow, this dude is really a piece of work. So after that, we get Bobby and Kyle scene. This gets a bit confusing to me because I get it. We're supposed to wonder about the whole Donald and Kyle thing, but okay, so we learned that Bobby and Kyle apparently were in the service together. The fact that they were Kyle was there for him where he needed it, and that's why he's trying to be there for him now because he can obviously see Kyle is upset. Most likely because of the whole Donald situation. Kyle's trying to send him over to Panama because of the fact that the airport photos and whatnot can probably do a lot of damage, and the fact that Bobby needs to be out of the country is probably a good sign that, yeah, the funk's about to hit the fan, so you need to leave. I don't know. This scene, and let me know in the comments if you interpreted this scene as something else, because this was kind of this scene kind of dragged on, and I don't really know where this storyline's going. So I get it. It's sometimes we got to just ride the train to see where the story ends up at the station, but at the same time, I find it very confusing. But after Kyle leaves, Bobby looks around for a phone, calls Lily, and tells him about the fact that there are people trying to destroy you. Look, don't trust anyone. Be on the lookout for a phone call from me again. And somebody's going to call you really soon. And it's Kyle with the information about the airport thing. So we move over to page 2. Sorry about that. Dang, I'm going through this review because I feel like the first scene was the longest scene with Victoria and Max, but at the same time, there was so much exposition and backstory that the rest of the episode just kind of, went by in segments. We have Gail, who's getting a call from Jason, and the fact that she is not missed at the White House. Nobody knows where she is. She's still with Picky. And he asked the question, but I was curious about last week. What exactly does Gail owe Jason for, him helping her escape? And she hangs up on him, but she gets a phone call back from him and is like, "You're really going to do this?" And I will blow this all up. She hangs up again, and we know what happens next. We have Barry and Denise talking for the first time. This is interesting. We learned that Denise wants nothing to do with her twin sister. The fact that Barry apparently owes her money for something. Who knows what that's about? And apparently there's some dude named Carl that she knows that could possibly help find out where Callie is. But then he talks about how Ruth is dead, and she tries to blame him about it, but then he shifts it about the whole thing. You know, I would never do anything like that. And unfortunately, Denise drops the bomb that, hey, number one, Carl doesn't have a phone. I don't know how to contact him. And also, if Callie's with that cult, you're probably never going to see her again because they up and disappear. So that does not bode well. And she gets Barry to hide because she sees Max at the front door. He comes in with his own key, and it gets to the point where she resists trying to go to the White House. He puts on gloves and says he's been instructed by the president to bring you in by force unless you want to go voluntarily. So she leaves while Barry is still hiding. I really like this scene. We go to Kyle and Lily, and once again, the fact that he has all these photos questions her about the whole Bobby situation. She doesn't know who he is. Basically, she's deflecting on his questions and lies, and then Kyle leaves. Really not much to talk about here. Well, we know what this is about, okay? So after that, we get Victoria and Jason, who snitches on Gail for leaving and the fact that she snuck out in the maid's trunk. And I really did love the camera work of the fact we saw where Victoria, walked away from Jason to open up Gail's door and then leaves. I don't know why. I just love what's the correct term? Is it called a panning shot? It really looked good. So then she goes to headquarters and curses everyone out the fat ass with the donut. This literally is Veronica Harrington in the White House. I honestly don't even know how else to put it. So they go to look the premises for Gail. Then the final scene is Gail and Picky in bed and talks about how she doesn't care about this White House lifestyle, the fact that she wants to be with Picky no matter what. And he brings up the fact that you know how many girls would love to be in your position right now at the White House. But she makes a good point about the people who don't have it, don't know about what it is in the life of those who do. And then Barry shows up. So an interesting cliffhanger. Overall, this episode was actually pretty good. We got some character interactions we haven't seen before. Definitely seeing backstory from Victoria was a nice plus. Hunter is still Hunter. I think what really holds it back for me, and again, maybe the payoff is going to be worth it, but I honestly kind of don't care about the whole Kyle, Bobby, and Lily stuff. I feel like it is a bit, we get the same thing every episode, but we'll just have to wait and see how things play out. But I'm going to give this episode, at first I was going to give it an 8, but I will give it an 8.5 because once again, Victoria did one hell of a performance, giving her backstory at the end. The cliffhangers again are very good. Jason was creepy in the episode, but I did get some laughs out of him. He got some laughs out of me by his performance as well. The Denise and Barry scene was really good. I see a lot of people don't like Barry. I was checking online in the comments on some of my posts, and yeah, they don't really like Barry. Every time he goes somewhere, where's my daughter? And I'm like, well, yeah, I get it. If your child was missing, wouldn't you kind of be doing what he's doing? But maybe not in the same kind of fashion where he's just lashing out at people and whatnot. I did like the fact that Denise checked him about calling her a bitch, and then he calmly asked about Carl and everything. I like that scene. It wasn't like a Kareem scene where he started like tearing up the store. He got checked, recognized he was out of line, and asked for help. So I did like that. So to me, that actually saved Barry's demeanor in this episode. 8.5 out of 10. I stand by that score. Let me know if you disagree. Do you agree, or do you go higher than 8.5? Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're about 1,300 people away from 100,000 subscribers. I'd really appreciate it. I saw the Oval was trending last night again, so that's good. Check me out on social media. Links are in the description below. And as always, I'll catch you all in the next video.